Yo, what's up, y'all? It's MMA Analyst back at it again. Just coming online after this Manny Pacquiao monster match that he just put Ricky Hatton through. I mean, damn. But let's talk about why I'm on here. I'm not here to talk about the fight, although I will say that I thought it would be like some kind of. I didn't know it was gonna be that bad and that quick. You know what I mean? Roach was talking 3 rounds. I was thinking maybe 4, maybe 5. Definitely was not going to go the whole fight. It was impossible. Somebody was going to get caught. You know, Pacquiao dropped him twice in the first and then straight flatlined him in the second. Just out cold dead. Nasty knockout with the boxing gloves, with those big ass boxing gloves. Manny, little ass Pacquiao just came to a bow. Anyways. This is why I'm making the video. There's a lot of stuff that I think I just want to say. So check this out. Y'all know, first of all, my first love. You know what I mean, when it comes to this contact, full contact fighting stuff. You know, it's MMA all day. You know what I mean? I watch every MMA event. I stay up, 3 in the morning to watch Dream and Sengoku. You know what I mean? I'm here for MMA. You know what I mean? That's what I do. And then when the big fights come around for boxing, you know what I mean? Then I definitely handle my business with those. Only the big ones. I'm not the dude that watches all the other ones, the upcomers. I don't know who the upcomers are until they've already come up. You know what I mean? But I do enjoy boxing, and I do enjoy the big names. I enjoy the hype. I enjoy, just what it is. But I was just looking at tonight's match, tonight's showcase and whatnot, and it just the big differences between MMA and boxing, and y'all are going to be surprised at how I'm saying or what I'm about to say. MMA needs to step it up, man. MMA really needs to step it up. And let me say what I'm talking about. Now I know, I'm watching, one UFC a month, Dreams coming every 2 months, Sengoku every 2 months, so I might watch, 20 MMA events, 25, maybe, however many, maybe 30 MMA events a year, and I might only watch 3 boxing matches a year. So let's get that out of the way. I'm not watching all the small ones, but I just want to say, when it comes to the big ones, like let's compare like the biggest MMA cards, like UFC, 100's coming up, or the end of the year events for the UFC and and like the Super Bowl events. Let's compare the big ones. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna talk about the big ones, and then we're gonna talk about the big ones for boxing. Pacquiao, Hatton, Mayweather, Hatton, Mayweather, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, just the big stuff, right? MMA needs to step it up, man. And I'll say these few quick things. Number one, what does MMA need most? I'm not going to get into it too deep, but they need a fighter union, man. Now, I'm watching these dudes come out talk about this big money, and I know boxing's been around for like 150 years. I know, MMA's only been around since like 1992. I know this. But MMA, at least in the UFC, is making that boxing money, but the fighters aren't making the boxing money. And I'm not saying start cutting the $10 million checks, because they can't really do all that. But they need the fighters union. They need, number 2, the ranking system. The real ranking system, not the, this guy's popular because he's got some fans and he's coming over from the WWE, so we're going to give him a title shot. And this guy's not as exciting, and he doesn't speak English, and he doesn't really talk a lot of trash, and even if he did, it wouldn't matter because he don't speak English, so we're not going to give him a title shot, or whatever situation might arise. We need ranking systems. We need fighters union, so that the fighters actually have the power, so that they can say, you know what I mean, like, we are the show. You know what I mean? That's one. That's number 2. Number 3, they need like the fighters to be the focus. Like, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, like when Ricky Hatton comes to the United States, 20,000 of his fans, even if they're exaggerating, let's just cut it in half. 10,000 of his fans fly across a damn ocean, spend thousands of dollars to see this dude get knocked out in 2 minutes or in 2 rounds. And then they just start cheering his name right after. They don't give a F about what happens. They're supporting the dude. Now, I know boxing really doesn't have organizations or whatnot, but if, Ricky Hatton decided to go fight, somewhere else or under some other trainer, it don't matter. He's got fans. The fans are diehard to the end, nonstop. It doesn't matter. Manny Pacquiao, that dude is like the president of the Philippines. That dude is so popular that if you are Filipino, you know who he is. It doesn't matter if you like boxing. It doesn't matter if you know any other boxer. You just know who Manny Pacquiao is. And then there's De La Hoya, there's Oscar De La Hoya, there's Mayweather, there's like the Klitschko brothers. Look, the reality is, just like in all the other sports, basketball, if Ovechkin decides I'm not going to play in the NHL next year, I'm going to play in Russia. Ovechkin doesn't lose his fans, man. They don't go, where'd Ovechkin go? People start watching wherever he is. And that's the way it is in these sports where these guys are making big money and they got millions of fans that will watch these guys forever. They're like, De La Hoya, please come back. We don't, whatever, whatnot. UFC, MMA, you know what I mean? All it takes is one dude. All it takes is Dana to say, Chuck don't want to be a fighter. Or, sorry, Tito don't want to be a fighter and Chuck's retired. And everybody will be like, Tito sucks, man. He's all about Hollywood. And Chuck needs to retire. And Vanderlei Silva's one fight away from retiring. He needs to stop. And it's like, I'm all for fighter safety. I'm all for whatever, whatnot. But when they say, man, I had a conversation with a dude the other day. He was like, man, Arlovsky's washed up. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, he's not even in the UFC anymore. I'm like, do you realize that he was on a 3-fight winning streak when he was released from the UFC because they didn't want to pay him his money? They put him on the undercard, didn't even give him the microphone so he could say thanks to my fans. They blacked the show out. I still can't find that fight. I can, but just for the point, I still can't find that fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's the champ. He loses to some dudes. And then he wins 3 fights in a row, and they kick him out of the UFC, or whatever you want to call it, and people say he's washed up. They don't care about Arlovsky. I know the hardcore fans care about Arlovsky, but the UFC fans, and I'm talking about the ones that actually make the sport big, hardcore fans don't ever make something big. It takes casual fans. Casual fans are what makes anything big. You know what I mean? It's like hip-hop or whatever. You think, a 2 million rappers go out and buy an album and that's why it goes double platinum? No. You know what I mean? A lot of little Jimmys and Billies and Cindy's and Susans are buying 50 Cent albums. That's why he goes platinum, or maybe used to, or whatever. The point is, casual fans make everything big. It's just the reality of it. Now, the casual fan has forgot Arlovsky exists. And then all of a sudden they see him get beat by some Russian they don't know about, and they're like, oh man, look, he got kicked out of the UFC and now he's losing to some chubby Russian. That stuff doesn't exist, man. Manny Pacquiao tomorrow could be like, I'm fighting in my backyard. And that'll be the most busy backyard in wherever the hell he lives. But it needs that. I'm not all for like nationalism and all that stuff, but UFC, MMA, y'all need to play the effing national anthem before the main event, okay? Like, you got Anderson Silva fighting, let's say he's fighting Rich Franklin for the title. We talked about a few years ago. All right, well, before that main event starts, you get out this dude and you pay him $50,000 and have him sing, whatever the Brazilian national anthem is, and then you get, the new Whitney Houston and have her come over and sing the American national anthem. Like, get that stuff in there, man. We need people going like, I'm rooting for my American. Like, I don't really think it's necessary, but it would help. And last but not least, one of these undercard fights, man, first round, dude was getting blazed on. He was getting straight whooped. Second round, he was getting whooped some more. Two young dudes, up and comers. I think the one dude was like Russian or something like that. Anyways, second round, he just owning him, like pop, 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 blasting him. And referee jumped in like enough's enough. Now he didn't even knock him down in the second round. And this always happens in boxing. I'm just making a point. He didn't even knock him down. He was just like, man, I've seen enough. Everybody's seen enough. Guess what? We didn't hear anything. We didn't hear any boos. Nobody's like, boo, we need the blood. We need to see a knockout. We need to see, violence to the 100, degree. It was like, save the dude, man. We don't need to see his brain all mashed up by the time he turns 40. And they saved the dude. Reality is, the dude's not really ever going to be a champ. He's probably going to fight a few more times. You'll never see him again. Good. Good. Now he can go maybe do something else and still have his brain intact. But the point is, the fans, boo. They ain't booing or going crazy. Boxing in general can be very boring, straight up. Especially heavyweight matches with some uncoordinated, not championship type dudes. It can be very boring. But what you don't hear, boo, like after maybe 8 seconds of, feeling out period, boo. You know what I mean? They respect the game. Now, Japan, they kind of have the same thing over there. So I'm not even talking about Japan. I'm always excluding y'all. Your fans are on point. You sit there, you shut up, you chill out, you enjoy the fights, and you cheer when things happen. I guess I'm talking about everywhere else. I'm talking about Canada, where I'm from. I was in Montreal listening to these idiots act like damn fools, chanting GSP in the middle of other people's fights, booing everybody that wasn't from Canada, booing people after the fights. These Manny Pacquiao just got his ass knocked out. Okay, these guys flew, I don't know how many thousand miles, but they flew him, maybe a 24-hour flight. Just spent lots of money, came over, and their homeboy got laid out. I was like, oh no, call the ambulance, call the paramedics, call the coroner, call up the dude from CSI that put the glasses on and stuff. Call all these dudes up and investigate. Is Hatton still alive? And I didn't even, these guys all came over with drums and flags, painted their face, got circumcised, all types of crazy stuff for the fight. And then their boy got blasted in, honestly, 5 minutes. Pacquiao, the dude that just blasted him, steps up. Guess what happens? They ain't booing. Boo. No, they're not booing. They're clapping. They're respecting the dude that won. The better man won. What happens when Chuck gets knocked out by Rampage Jackson? Dude gets booed. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of somebody. Oh no, my boy got knocked out by this other dude. I'm gonna boo him because he's a punk ass. That's stupidity. Man, boxing, it's not my thing. I do appreciate these cards. Like tonight, I was about to drop the 59. Then I snapped out of it. I said this fight is not going to be that long. I cannot pay $59 for possibly 9 minutes. That cannot go down. So I got smart about it. But I was ready to. You know what I mean? I fixed it up though, like I said. Anyways, for the Mayweathers, I'm always dropping bam bam, $59, $60. No big deal. Because those are the, you know what I mean? Let's do it. But it's it's still not my thing. I can't watch, up and comers and say, oh, well, he's going to be the next dude, or, you know what I mean? But the reality is, man, MMA's got a long way to go, man. A long, long way to go before, comes over from, whatever it is right now to officially being a sport. I know these dudes are fighting, and I know that it's not scripted, and I know that it's real. And that part of it is sport. But everything else around it is not what it needs to be. Oh man, it hurts. It hurts because I love it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't want to say a bunch of stuff that's real politically incorrect, but let's just say you had a kid and it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. You know what I mean? Whatever way that is, that's how I feel. Like, man, I love my kid, but he just, whatever it is, fill in the blank. You know what I mean? That's how I feel, man. I want changes. I just want little things. You can't do everything overnight, but you can do some things overnight. You know what I mean? Get that dude singing the national anthem. Do that. You know what I mean? 2, get the real ranking systems. I want to know who's fighting who, and if what happens if this guy wins. I want to know all that. That's what I want to know. Like, we got Maya versus Marquardt. Now, whoever wins that should definitely get a title shot after, they should be next. But most likely it's going to be Bisping versus Henderson. Whoever wins, that's going to get the title shot. Like, I want to know what's really going down. You know what I mean? Like, long before it happens. Little things, man. They're not big things. We can't do anything about the, hundreds of thousands of retards out there that are, booing and drinking and acting like damn fools and new to the sport. The sport's new itself. So if you're new to the sport, that only makes sense because it's new. At least it's definitely, its popularity being this big is new. But it's got to come someplace. It's got to move from where it's at. It's got to move forward. You know what I mean? There are some people out there that are responsible for MMA being as big as it is today. You know what I mean? A lot of guys that aren't in the game anymore. A couple of them are, like Dana White. That dude is very much responsible for how big the UFC is. Most people think MMA is the UFC. Whatever. He's done a great job. I'm all for it. Congratulations. Thank you. But don't stop there, man. But I know, you can stop there because you're making your money. You know what I mean? And if the sport doesn't grow any bigger, you're still going to continue to make your money. But, there has to be things. Things have to be done, y'all. You know what I mean? They have to be done. I watched this fight tonight, and I'm just thinking, man, MMA is important, y'all. It's so important when it comes to the sport side of things, man. It's a great sport. It's got everything. And it's just so far away still. It's still so far away. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to the Great Valley. You know what I mean? And I just got to get over that hill. And then I look over the hill and find out the Great Valley ain't there. Y'all know I'm talking about. What's that? A little dinosaur story. Anyways, y'all. Pacquiao put it down. I got to see Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Mayweather come through, bust up dude, and then fight Pacquiao in 2010. I'll be back soon enough. MMA, it's important. Sanji Ribeiro won last night. Sengoku, congratulations, Sanji Ribeiro. Alvarez handling his business. Lots of little things going on this weekend in MMA. Got some good stuff coming up. We got Machida versus Evans. I'm going to do a video just on Machida versus Evans. Just maybe not, but I will get into that for sure. Got some good stuff coming up. UFC 100's crazy. UFC 101 is looking like it might be even crazier just by accident. There's some good stuff coming up in the UFC. We got this Hulk tournament, this Super Hulk tournament in Dream 9. It's out of control, really. It's they got the good stuff, like Tetsuya Kawajiri fighting Cavalcante. And then they've got Mayhem Miller fighting Jacare, which is some good-ass fights. Then, they got the featherweight tournament handling its business. So it's round 2 of the featherweight tournament. So Kid Yamamoto's up in that foolishness. And Minari's, they're all doing their thing. And then they need some ratings. So they just went crazy. And they put, Musashi against Mark Hunt. And Bob Sapp against Minowa. Is it K1 Dynamite already? Who'd they put? Jose Canseco? Jose? Baseball player steroid use Jose Canseco against Hongman Choi? Oh my goodness. And then they got Sokaju against Dan North. Anyway, there's some craziness coming up in MMA all across the board, all around the world. It's still got lots to do, long distances to travel before it gets to the point where it needs to get. But I'm going to be there. I hope y'all are there. MMA is important, y'all. Peace.